chair for our Rockland County Democratic Committee. As I am a candidate, I'm going to turn this portion of the meeting over to Second Vice Chair Maureen Corallo.
I guess this is my big moment. And I'm going to call on Honorable Elijah Rockland Melnick from the New York State Senate for the purpose of a nomination.
He's on vacation.
He's in Maine, he can't do this.
Yeah, really bad planning.
His voice won't carry.
Are we going to call on Howard Phillips?
Yes, once again.
Oh God, we're going to call on Howard Phillips.
Oh, God.
And I'm going to have a little dart behind him, so Howard Phillips for the purpose of a nomination.
Well, I don't know about filling in for a person named Elijah. I mean, I've read about the prophet Elijah, but to fill in for an Elijah. Before I begin, let me just recognize
We're considering two very important positions in our party: the Board of Elections Commissioner and Democratic Party Chair. I am pleased to let you know that tonight we expect to confirm Kathy Piatanza as BOE Commissioner. Although I will not pursue a nomination tonight for party chair, I will pursue the position of first vice chair in the party leadership. This is a vote of the executive committee that will take place in a couple of weeks. All towns need to feel they are represented in our party leadership. Perhaps more importantly, all committee people need to feel a sense of fairness and to know that their party has focus and a purpose. These are the goals that I will pursue, working with Chris as your first vice chair. I am committed to improving our party's communication and transparency, increasing our diversity and inclusivity, and working on improving the basic structural elements of our committee that so sorely need our attention, like our bylaws, our fundraising, our committee structure, and our social media. Our job as a committee is to engage Rockland County Democrats and elect successful Democratic candidates. You have my word that this is what I will continue to work to do with Chris, with the executive committee, and with all of you. I hope we can move forward together to achieve these goals. Thank you.
And now I have the great privilege of introducing my friend, the town of Ramapo Democratic Chair, Mona Montal.
First, forgive my voice. I had some surgery, and I'm honored to be able to stand here this evening and actually have the voice to share with you. What I'd like to share with you is that I don't ever want to follow Greg again. I think we played softball together.
You're a great shortstop.
Nearly 40 years ago, when being a Democrat meant we could all come together under, yes, Howie, Tommy Lawless's big roof. I go back to the days of Herb Reisman. I can't believe it's been that long ago that we lost him. And he used to say to me, being my political mentor, Billy Rotella on the left, of course, Fred Miller sitting right next to him. They were shooting back drinks. I don't think I was 18 yet, so I couldn't actually join in. But what Herb used to say to me was, politics, poly is many, and ticks are blood-sucking parasites. And we, in the county of Rockland, have to learn how to stand together, united as one. So we've gone through our rocky times, but I'm very proud to say, and thanks to Greg again for refocusing us on finding a candidate to run against the current sitting Republican county executive. LaTanya, with all of us standing behind you, you can't lose. When I came in this evening, we all didn't know what to expect. This is the largest turnout of the Rockland County Democratic Committee in the last 10 years that I can remember. So thank you to all of you who are here. One of the first people that I bumped into was Wilbur. Anybody know a guy named Wilbur? And I said to him, Wilbur, we're all here together because of you. Because you made me remember what it was all about to bring everybody together and to be a Democrat. And Kathy, there's nothing more important to me personally than to see you ascend to the Commissioner of Elections for this county. You deserve it. You always have. You always made me proud, and you're always a friend of mine, and you always will be. Nancy, your words will never be forgotten. The fact that you're taking this convention and bringing it together and uniting us under one roof once again, I second your nomination to be the first vice chair of this party at the executive committee. Indulge me for one more moment. I met this guy behind me several decades ago. He was a friend. He is a friend. I don't know after tonight if he's going to be my friend. But he is a friend. He's a friend to everyone. And when it came to organization after organization after organization, Chris Sampson reminded me what it was to volunteer and not look back until a mission was accomplished. Whether it was the school board, the town clerk, the executive committee, the town committee, Chris is always there and will be for all of us. With that, I'm very honored and proud to put your name into nomination for the chairman of the Rockland Democratic Committee.
I would like to ask if there are any more nominations for the office of chair.
I nominate John Dorado.
Thank you, Madam Chair Pro Tem. My name is Gina Ironside. I know many of you. I feel very strongly that we need to unite our party. And for myself, I know with the support of many of you here, last year at this time, I was in North Carolina knocking on doors for Joe Biden. I was also in Pennsylvania knocking on doors for Joe Biden. And between Thanksgiving and New Year's, with the support of many of you in this room, I was in Atlanta, Georgia, trying to win a Democratic United States Senate, which we did. We Democrats did that. And I dearly believe in unifying our party. And I'd like to thank our hosts here in Haverstraw and thank our acting chair and all the other officers of the Rockland County Committee. Many of you know that earlier this month, some Rockland Democratic legislators tried to install a Board of Elections commissioner in a secret meeting. For months, these legislators refused to reappoint then Elections Commissioner Kristen Zabrowski-Stavisky. That was a strong-arm tactic to create chaos in the sanctum of our Board of Elections. Does that remind you of anything? Trump. Today, here, a backroom deal was set to have us elect a party chair running unopposed. We Democrats must not accept backroom deals. You and I organized and came out here in great numbers because it was important to us to elect a commissioner for the Board of Elections, and I do back Kathy Piatanza, and a party chair, as is our right. And so, as candidate for chair of the Rockland County Democratic Committee, I hereby nominate my esteemed friend and devoted Democrat, John Ramapo. John has worked tirelessly for transparency and civil discourse. Beginning as a 12-year-old handing out leaflets for Jimmy Carter, he then studied public policy at Duke University, and he even interned for a member of Parliament in the United Kingdom. Here in Rockland, John has lent his talents and energy to many wonderful candidates, including Ken Zabrowski, Mondaire Jones, Julie Goldberg, Ellen Jaffe, and others. As an activist and an early member of the No IDC coalition statewide, John and I and many of you organized and pushed for Democratic control of our state Senate. John formed relationships with many leaders in both houses of the legislature and in the state party. John has, for several years, been serving as an elected member of the Rockland County Democratic Committee Executive Committee, and he also serves on the Judicial Nominating Committee. Actively involved in the county for over 3 decades, I know John to have a deep understanding of the political currents and undercurrents in Rockland and in New York State and in our nation. I believe John understands what we need and how to work together for it. I warmly nominate John Ramapo for strong, transparent, and inclusive Rockland County Democratic Committee leadership. Thank you.
Is there a second to nominate John Ramapo?
I second.
There is a second. Okay, John Ramapo.
Dimitri Laddick, second.
Okay.
May I speak?
Can the candidate speak?
Okay, apparently the procedure now would be to call for a voice vote.
Can he speak? Can he?
Whoa! I have no idea. Just bear with me for a second. I'm not trying to put anything through on anybody. I don't know.
Okay.
So just give me a break.
Can I be recognized?
Yes, sir.
I move that we invite each candidate for the chair to speak.
You want the candidates to speak?
Yeah.
Okay. I'll let John Ramapo come first and speak.
Point of order, Madam Chair.
Yes, point of order.
The previous candidate had no fewer than 5 people speak on their behalf. I would like to invite 5 people to speak on behalf of the candidate. If you want to speak, you can speak. If you want to speak on behalf of the candidate, you can speak. if there are people that would speak on behalf as seconds for this candidate, they should be afforded that opportunity based on.
Point of order.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, I just want to say one thing real quick, okay? Excuse me, the woman that just spoke before, she and two others, including Mr. Gramada, came into the legislative offices with no real meeting going on, and we're not
All right, would anybody else like to come up and speak of John Gramada? Apparently I can have 5 people, we've now had 2. 5 people. Who wants to come up? Who wants to be brave and come up and speak against me, for God's sake? Tell her.
Thank you, and I understand the importance of having a democratic process, which is why we're gathered here. We're not gathered here to vote by acclamation, but rather to hear both of the candidates. And I understand the merits of having both of the candidates speak, and I want to say this. I was there when we went to the legislature, and that was an undemocratic process, and John Gramada was willing to stand up to some of the interests in this county and willing to push and have a truly democratic process, and I can say that he is the reason why we are gathered here today. And to that end, I'm glad that there are people in this county who support Mr. Sampson for chair, but I believe that it's important as a Democratic committee, we not only practice big D, but also small d democratic politics. If we're to do so, I think it's only right that we have a fair and open vote on chair. And that I'm glad that John Gramada is one of the few people who's willing to stand up here and do that. For too long in this county, I think things have been conducted behind closed doors. And I hope tonight marks a change to that. Not only with electing candidates who believe in transparency, like LaTanya, as Greg spoke to, but also a candidate for chair who's willing to do the same. That's why I'm happy to stand up here and support the nomination of John Gramada to be the next county chair for the Rockland County Democratic Committee. Thank you.
Is there another seconding of the nomination? Would you like to come up and speak?
Thank you. Dimitri Lattis, resident of Piermont. So, the only reason we are all here is because activists like John Gramada stopped a backroom deal from taking away from all of us what it means to live in a democracy. The machinery was working against all of us. It takes voices of truth like John's. It takes courage like John has to stand up and say enough. If we're going to be different than the Trumpers who were referenced earlier, what makes us different? What makes the Democratic Party different? There's a lot of lip service by some very spirited voices here tonight about Democrats being different. What makes us different? It has to be about process. It has to be that backroom deals and a set slate. This is who you're going to vote for tonight. Let's all cheer them on. No, that's not democracy. And John Gramada stood up. And that's the reason we're here. To stop the machinery, to bring options to the table. Let us have some transparency. Let us have folks who actually want democracy to work the way it's supposed to. That's why I support John Gramada. Thank you.
Are there any other seconds for the nomination of John Gramada? Okay, at this time I'm going to call for a voice vote. The other candidate, I'm sorry, I beg your pardon. Yes, please. John Fernando.
Thank you, everybody, and thank you, Greg, for reminding us all that we should never let a position go unopposed. I first want to thank everyone who helped make this important meeting possible. The only reason we are here tonight is that 194 members of this committee joined together to sign a letter asking that we have this meeting so that you could make your voices heard in determining a course for our party at this critical juncture. And that is what we are here to do today. These meetings must mean something. They can't just be a place where people come to rubber stamp decisions made by unknown bosses in back rooms. If our meetings don't mean anything, then our party doesn't mean anything. After all, as has been said here before, we are the Democratic Party. And if we don't operate little d democratically from the bottom up, we lose the active engagement of our committee members and the faith of rank-and-file Democrats in our county. We're supposed to be living in a representative democracy. You are all representatives of your communities, acting on behalf of the election districts that you stand for. You are here to give Democratic residents in your community a voice in the direction of this party. That is the way this is supposed to work. So I stand here tonight to give you a choice and to ask you, how do you want to see your party run? Has the status quo been working for us? How do you think we can work together to restore faith in our party? Here in Rockland, where we hold a 2-to-1 numerical advantage, yet we're losing ground every year in elections every year to Republicans. How do we begin to push back forcibly against the false narratives put forward by the GOP that too many Democrats in our county believe? We need to play offense. How do we attract the best candidates? How do we attract the best candidates and the money they need to win elections? How do we reach out and engage disenfranchised communities who feel they have no voice here and want better representation in our party and in our government? And maybe most importantly, how do we unite this disparate party made up of so many diverse communities so that together we can answer these questions and start winning elections across the county? If you elect me, I promise to work with all parts of this party in all towns so that together we can answer these questions, because I believe our party's diversity is its greatest strength. If we can unite the moderates and the left, the religious and the secular, all in the party, from Stony Point to Pearl River to Suffern and Muncie and Pomona and yes, Haverstraw, there is no stopping us. We will finally be able to regain the faith of the electorate and join the blue wave sweeping across the rest of the state that's leaving us behind. Together we will send representatives into office who will work to improve the lives here of all here in Rockland, because isn't that why you're here tonight and why you're involved in this party? You are here because you care about this county and you want to make Rockland a better place for your family, your children, your neighbors, and all who will come after us. Your opinion matters. Your vote matters. You have the power to make change. You have the choice. It is yours. If you choose me, I promise your voice will continue to matter in this party. No matter what happens tonight, I and others will continue pounding on doors so that all our voices will continue to matter. Thank you.
I was told that people in the back can't hear me. I can't believe that, because I think they hear me at St. Peter's Church. So anyway, just bear with me for a moment. Just have to say, I know that Howard told you that I've been involved in Democratic politics for over 50 years. And it's true. And when I say I've been involved in Democratic politics for over 50 years, I can tell you that I have truly been involved. I have done yeoman's work for so many different candidates. And I know when I see a good candidate. And I was very upset when I thought that Chris Sampson wasn't going to run for the executive position of the Rockland County Democratic Committee. And I just was kind of praying that I wouldn't have to write an acceptance speech for myself Chris Sampson is the person who needs to be the chair of the Rockland County Democratic Committee. So please, take my word, and take my word for the 50 years that I've been involved in Democratic politics. Chris Sampson needs to be.
You are the chair of this committee. You need to be neutral. That is not your role. If you wish to support somebody, you need to put somebody neutral chair.
Okay, I'm not going to do any more speech. I just want to say we're ready to have a voice vote.
No.
Yes, we are. I'm the chair of this committee. Chris wants to speak? Okay, thank God. Okay.
I'm having difficulty, quite frankly, collecting my thoughts. One of the statements that was uttered in the last half hour or so referred to backroom deals. I think someone also said, I think Maureen said that I had expressed no desire to be chair of this committee. But I remembered what I did when I retired the first time. I worked for a major telecommunications company for 30 years and had an opportunity to retire rather young. I think I was 50 at the time. And I said, well, here's an opportunity. I knew that I'd be paid for the rest of my life, and it's an opportunity for me to redirect my efforts. And I made a commitment to participate in public, civic, and community service. And that's what I did. I probably overextended myself in terms of the number of organizations that I became part of that were trying to make a difference for folks. But it seemed to me that the organization that makes the most difference for people is our government. And democratic government and democratic principles are what I began to work for. I didn't have to lobby for the job. Herb Reisman somehow found that I'd retired and had made a general commitment to civic and community service, and he basically recruited me to join his team as town clerk in the town of Ramapo. He was very proud to have a person of color, for example, as one of his department heads. He was proud to have a town clerk that had a master's degree in management. Gave me a swell head about what I could add to government, but it also redirected me in terms of a commitment to just be able to help folks. And that's the only reason I'm here. Back to the statement about a backroom deal. I reluctantly agreed to act as chair of this committee beyond my requirement to serve in the interim. And that commitment I made, basically to finish Kristen's term, was based on the fact that I had a reputation for listening to everybody and trying to find those things that we can work on together as Democrats. Our only job, our only task as a committee is to get Democrats elected. And I want to help those folks get Democrats elected in Orangetown. What are you doing? This is nutty. We don't need this. We have to, this effort could be paid for by Ed Day. This is nonsense. It's crazy. It makes no sense. There is no backroom deal. I was invited to join a meeting by folks who wanted to be chair of this committee. And I said, bravo, there's folks who want to be chair of the committee. I think that's terrific. And then I was convinced that I should stay on as the chair. Folks said that, you know, you have a history of listening to people and coming up with something that we can all live with. And that's who I am. So I just submit myself to you. I want to help all of us restore democratic governments in all of the towns in the county. That's as much as I'll say about it.
Can we hear from the other gentleman again? He just got equal time.
It's now time to vote.
Point of order. The floor hasn't been open for debate.
Point of order.
I rise to a point of order, Madam Chair.
Rising to a point of order.
Is there no debate, no discussion? What rules are we governed by that we don't know what's going on? Point of order. It's a reasonable point of order, Madam Chair.
I make a motion, we close nominations.
I second it.
Motion made and seconded to close the nominations. We have two nominees. We have Chris Sampson.
Vote on the motion. Excuse me? We have to vote on the motion.
Oh, I'm sorry, excuse me. Vote on the motion. I learned from the master. He said, you say, all in favor signify by saying aye, opposed or carried. So, all in favor signify by saying aye for the motion. Opposed? Motion is carried. Who was the person who moved to close the nominations?
Emily Finer.
Emily Finer. And Kathy second, okay. Okay, we're going to do a voice vote.
Point of order, please.
Good Lord, what? I can't hear you.
If this is a voice vote, we are carrying proxies who are silent.
Okay.
So what do we do with the proxies?
We want to have the voice vote, including the proxies.
A voice for the proxies?
Ladies and gentlemen, so that we can move on, please divide the room. Those of you for Chris Sampson with your proxies, go to the left. Those of you with proxies and want to vote for John Gramata, go to the right. Gentlemen, we're asking, Maureen is not feeling well. Please get up and do that.
Tony, you're not the chair. You're not the chair.
The chair recognizes Mona Montal.
A motion to divide the room. First, second. Doesn't matter, sit down.
What reason? Everybody gets a voice. For what reason is Mona here or not?
Mona is the longest standing chair, other than Fred Miller. So she's being recognized for her tenure. Everybody, excuse me.
That doesn't mean anything.
Ladies and gentlemen, the room is now divided. We're calling for the vote. All those in favor of Chris Sampson on this side, say aye. All those in
Democracy every vote! Count every vote! Democracy every vote! Count every vote! Count every vote!
Hello. Excuse me. There was a motion on the floor to divide the assembly. That motion was seconded. To count the vote by division of the assembly, every vote will be counted. We need to cleanly divide the assembly. So people, as Mona said earlier, and I understand the frustration that everyone has, and everyone wants to be heard, and everyone will be heard. So we're going to divide the assembly so we can make some order in order to run this meeting and make this vote. So people that are for John, please step to my right, and people that are for Chris.
Hold up your proxy if you're voting. If you're voting for Chris Sampson, hold your proxies up in your hands, please.
Let's not play this game. Roll call vote.
Are you talking about playing games? Because if you're talking about playing games, you're the ones that are playing the game. A roll call vote? No, we're going to have a show of hands with... I have to tell you something. I've never been booed before in my life. This is a real treat.
Roll call's been moved and seconded, Madam
You want to call the roll? Okay. I have to see the roll call. The roll. Oh, just call the vote. I'm sorry. We're calling the vote. Anybody? Oh. Because she's been around for a long time, and I have. Oh, Mother of God! No, I don't. Okay. Well, anyway, if you're voting for Chris Sampson and you have a proxy, please hold your proxy up in the air.
Okay, looking at the room, this is Mary, and I am the recording secretary, and I'm looking at this room, and I'm letting you know right now that Chris Sampson has the majority of the vote. So by looking at the room, quarters are for Chris Sampson, and a quarter of the room is for John Ramapo. That's the end.
Count the vote! Count the vote!
for a chair that I've been elected as chair. No! I want to thank you all. I promise to do my best, and we will find a way to get all of this energy together to elect Democrats. We're moving on, and I would like to recognize the next agenda item. You can say I'm afraid of no one or no thing. The only thing I'm afraid of is this gravel right here. This unnerves me. I can't hear what you're saying, it's just yelling. All I hear is yelling. I said I heard you. So move off. You don't know what I'm going to do, do you? So move off and let me talk. So,
I think the issue is that you're not prepared to meeting, sir. The issue is the chair is not recognized by not recognized by you because you don't want
the issue is a portion of this convention will not let me proceed with the meeting. I have been elected chair of the Rockland Democratic Committee, and there is a loud, disruptive group of folks who will not let me continue the meeting. There was a vote, and I was declared the chair. I'm beginning to be afraid. Don't threaten people.
The people I represent is my neighbors and want democracy, and I cannot carry petitions for the people on the diet and the people in the front.
I did see it.
I think we should count the votes. I think we should line up. Just line up. Line up in a line.
Ladies and gentlemen, the meeting is hereby adjourned.
The meeting was not legitimately adjourned. And we want to do the vote for the Board of Elections Commissioner.
No.
Is there a motion?
Is there a motion for a call of the roll? We're going to call the roll.
Oh,